everyone. I'm Bill Chenard, the Pembroke Town Manager. And I'm just going to give a quick recap of the town's special town meeting that occurred on October 18th. There were 8 items on the agenda. The residents of the town voted positively on 7 and did not approve 1. I'm just going to go through those very quick. But before I do that, I want to talk about the attendance. We had over 500 people at this town meeting. That's very close to a record. We rarely get those kinds of numbers, and I'm super encouraged that people are participating in the political process. So keep it up. You know, Springtown meeting is scheduled again in May, so everybody come out and do that. So getting into where we're at, the first article was to balance this year's budget. As many people are aware, we have a snow overdraft. Most cities and towns in Massachusetts do. The town voted positively on that to fund the snow overdraft and reduce the tax rate by $353,980.83. The second article on the warrant was to fund a collective bargaining agreement for our police department. We had settled that agreement a short time ago, and that request was for $56,727. And the town meeting the residents voted positively on that one also. Third item was the capital item. There were several items on capital this year, over $2 million, voted positively. I want to note a couple of items that are on there. One was to augment our Chapter 90 by $600,000, which will get us moving and catching up on our street. One of the biggest complaints we get are the conditions of our roadways. This will go a long way to improving that. So. Article 4 was additional funding for the community center. As residents are aware, we've talked about it a number of times. The community center, unfortunately, was over budget. Residents voted positively, overwhelmingly voted positively, but for $3.1 million to fund that. Article 5 was for the final engineering, permitting, and building construction of the Swanberg well. That was $4.5 million, and residents voted positive on that. I'll note that process began several years ago when the town purchased that land, started the permitting process. It's through DEP. We just have to finish the final engineering piece, go out to bid, and actually construct a well. Article 6 was Brave Act tax exemption. That's a tax exemption allowed on Massachusetts law, but it requires a local option to approve that. And what it does is it gives a tax exemption for Gold Star parents who have lost someone as a result of military service in a war. So they voted, again, overwhelmingly to support that. Article 7 had 4 separate sections. That was the Community Preservation Committee articles. There was $25,000 for exterior renovations, basically painting of the Lydia Drake Library. There was $12,850 to replace the floating docks that were damaged by the ice storm a couple of years ago at 2 of our beaches. The next section was $10,000 to fund the Cobb Library roof. You may recall that last year we funded that partially. Well, we thought we were funding it fully, but unfortunately with COVID and some of the cost increases that are out there, we needed an additional $10,000. That was approved. And then the final item under the CPC was $36,575 for the Quaker Meeting House, and that's also for renovations to bring that up to speed. The final article, Article 8, was to transfer land to the select board so that they could sell 754 Washington Street. The residents determined that, after some speakers and some other stuff, determined that they didn't want to sell that land. So that was not approved. So that's a quick recap of our special town meeting for this fall. Thank you, everyone who turned out. I mean, tremendous participation. So awesome. Let's keep that up.